Oilers game. Let's go.
Un rayo de sol veremos salir con justicia, paz y fe, con valor y fe, lealtad y amor, bien bordaste tu blasón, deber y paz, virtud y fe, fama y honor será sin par, nación. Oh, Canadá, lucharemos por ti.
Now, to know the game inside and out.
This crowd explodes!
Bob Stauffer and Jack Michaels on the Oilers Radio Network.
And indeed, it's Edmonton and New Jersey, a pair of clubs who played an 11-day span last year, and the Oilers won both of those contests after New Jersey had swept Edmonton the year prior. And last year, the Devils played an integral part of two winning streaks. The Oilers, in the first matchup, beat them at Rogers Place 4-1. It was the 7th of their 8 consecutive victories. And then right before Christmas, Edmonton once again in the metropolitan New York area got it going with a come-from-behind win over Jersey. They got 4 in the third period. It was the first of a club record 16-game winning streak. Here's Draisaitl and Nico Hischier, and we are underway inside Rogers Place. Packed to capacity, 18,347. But Colson twirls it inside. Again, your starting lineup brought to you by Coventry Homes, the official builder of the Edmonton Oilers. The Devils work it back to center. Matthias Ekholm will settle it down and shoot it right back in. New Jersey opened its regular season in Prague with a pair of wins over Buffalo.
Oilers.
They're 3-0
in
the global series, having beaten
Vamos,
Edmonton in Sweden some years back.
Hey there, I'm
Speaking of
Stormy
Sweden,
Warren,
it's
and the
Matthias
Big
Ekholm on the puck
615
off
is
the
a
Devils
global
dump in.
country
And left to
station.
right, the Oilers. Bouchard tries to hit Draisaitl in stride. Second of a back-to-back. You'll often see the team playing the second of a
Hey there, I'm
back-to-back have
Stormy
their
Warren,
legs a
and the
little
Big
earlier.
615.
Play Mario on Amazon Music.
Play Mario with an Amazon Music Unlimited free trial on this Echo. It's free for 30 days, then automatically renews at 5.
Play Super Mario on Amazon Music.
To play a specific song, you'll need to sign up for Amazon Music Unlimited, which lets you choose from millions of songs on this Echo. It's free for 30 days, then automatically renews at $5 plus taxes a month. Cancel anytime. Terms in the Alexa app. Should I sign you up and play Super Mario, main theme? Okay. I can play similar
It's
music
Hyman
instead
trying to
for
force
free.
it free
Here's
for
a mix
Kulak,
based on
taken over
Super
by
Mario,
Andre Palat,
main
the
theme by
longtime
Super
member of the
Mario
Tampa Bay
Brothers
Lightning off
on
to Jack
Amazon
Hughes.
Music.
Devils very strong down the middle. They're 1-2. Shear and Hughes, one of the few that can be at least mentioned in the same paragraph with guys like McDavid and Draisaitl. Connor McDavid missing a third straight game tonight as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will dial it up in his own zone for Edmonton. In the blue sweaters with the orange and white trim, Devils in the white with the red numerals and black pants. Tossed into the New Jersey zone, turned over by Kovacevic, the one-time Montreal Canadian, who's able to regain the puck, but he put too much on it, and it's icing, and referees Kyle Raymond and Tom Shimoleski signal face-off back in the Devils zone. Linesman Libor Sakanik and Caleb Apperson. So, Bob, just one new member of the officiating quartet from last night's 4-2 win over the Flames, and that's Apperson, the linesman, as Allen looks at a face-off to his right.
Involved in that somewhat controversial call on the high stick. Counted as a goal.
Adam Henrique wins the faceoff back to Darnell Nurse. There's a shot that was redirected into the corner. And that's a rare one where, here's a quick chance and a backhander off the pipe from Adam Henrique in tight. And he had the first hat trick of his career against New Jersey, the team that drafted him as a member of the Anaheim Ducks last December. And he pinged the bar against Jake Allen. Had him beat cleanly, but it ticked the crossbar and sailed out of play. Face off to Allen's left.
Real great little interior dish pass there from Matthias Janmark.
This line needs something to go in for him.
You said it. And maybe Janmark getting that empty netter, and I know it wasn't as a trio with this line, but get a little bit of juice going.
Well, you knew Draisaitl would be looking for him to get Janmark his first goal, and he did. Troy Stecher draws into the Edmonton lineup. Here's a tip in front. Adam Henrique stopped again, and that's how he scored when he joined the Oilers last March, Bob. You'll recall, scored a lot of goals right like that, perched in front, getting his stick on loose pucks. Sent in deep, Calvin Pickard, the starter for the Edmonton Oilers, 4-0 lifetime against New Jersey. Stecher intercepts a centering pass and then got blasted by Curtis McDermott, who draws in for his fourth start for New Jersey. That's because Nathan Bastian suffered what many suspect is a broken jaw in an altercation with Ryan Lomberg on Friday night at the Saddledome. Driving in from the left-hand side is Justin Dowling, and you got to give him credit. 10 years in the American Hockey League, and he's back in the NHL, a guy who played 100 games in his first 13 years pro. That's a lot of up and down and a lot of long bus rides in the AHL. Long shot from distance. That sails wide. Rebound, Timo Meier, starting to come alive last year for Jersey down the stretch in garbage time as the Devils missed the playoffs after a 112-point season. Meier a steal. A dish to Luke Hughes from the left circle. Tries to center, and that's out of the reach of Ty Emberson and held in by Brett Pesce, who came over after nearly a decade in Carolina. And Bob and I always liked Pesce's game.
They got a good defense, Jack.
Sent in deep by the Oilers. Derek Ryan draws in up front for the Oilers while Drake Caggiula takes a seat. That combined with Pickard. So in other words, Stecher, Ryan, and Pickard are the newcomers for Edmonton in terms of tonight's lineup as compared to last night's. A dump in by the Devils. Bouchard to Ekholm, a stretch play to Arvidsson, and he was bottled up by Palat. We've played 4 minutes. The Oilers have the first 3 shots on net against 34-year-old veteran goaltender Jake Allen, who, interestingly enough, Bob, as you know, was drafted 3 picks after Jacob Markstrom. Both 34 years of age, both early second-round picks back in 2008. Evan Bouchard will give it up right-hand side. And eventually tossed in by Podkolzin, who had another good game last night in Calgary, and he was a talking point this morning.
This team can skate, Jack, New Jersey.
Here's Jack Hughes in across the line, a quick dish. Palat back to Hughes, and that pass was intercepted by Nugent Hopkins. They didn't do much skating Friday night in Calgary, laid an egg, and were shut out. Here's Stecher off the rush, a save made, a rebound, and a sprawling, diving save made by Jake Allen on the rebound against Zach Hyman. That puck's still loose. He was unable to cover, and now it's Ryan Nugent Hopkins. He'll throw it around the boards. That's where if Hyman was a left-handed shot, it's probably in the net as he's able to elevate. Jack Hughes will give it up. Controlling the puck and dropping it off, Jesper Bratt. Now taking it hard to the net is Paul Cotter. Centering pass, wrist shot, score! And the Devils, on their first shot of the game, take a 1-0 lead. A quick dish to Stefan Nason. And again, that Plano, Texas triumvirate of NHL players strikes. This time it's Nason off a brilliant feed to make it 1-0. Cotter the primary.
Well, they got a fairly easy zone entry and then were able to set it up. But Cotter with some real good patience, and you're not challenging that. That's just Nason, 37, 36 points the last 2 years.
Looked like Pickard got a piece of that puck, Bob. Stefan Nason, his 6th of the year. And as you said, back in the American Hockey League, Nason won the scoring championship in the American Hockey League with a 48-goal campaign, won the Calder Cup, went back to the NHL, and as you said, put together 2 good years in Carolina. Up the right-hand side, Nason, who, by the way, is making his second tour of duty with the Devils, also played for New Jersey prior. Ty Emberson up the middle and cleared back in, and eventually grabbed by the Oilers, turned over by Connor Brown, backhander by Nason, and that was tipped away. So the Devils score on their first shot after Edmonton showed promise with a pretty solid opening 5 minutes.
And Jake Allen played well because he kept a couple pucks in tight.
Diving save on Hyman and got a break when Henrique hit the crossbar. Henrique won a battle behind the net on a dump in, but his centering pass intercepted by Dowling and shot in by Tomas Tatar. The well-traveled one, his second tour of duty with New Jersey as well. McDermott out to the point. Siegenthaler a shot. That's speared by Calvin Pickard, who in building that 4-0 record against the Devils has a shutout and a .944 save percentage lifetime against New Jersey. But he and the Oilers find themselves down 1-0. We played 6 1/4 live at Rogers Place, sold out in downtown Edmonton on a beautiful fall evening. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network, who arrive at this game on the back end of a Western Canadian road trip. Started with a 6-0 blasting of the Vancouver Canucks, and then were shut out and turned by the Calgary Flames. They might have gotten Roxied in that one. Knocked down by Evan Bouchard. A clear by Timo Meier up the right-hand side. Gathered by Ekholm and twisted back in. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you. Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth high atop Rogers Place. The 8th floor, and 18,000 plus packed in on this Monday night. Back end of a back-to-back for the Oilers, who've lost the first 2 in that scenario. Home to Calgary and on the road at Columbus. Arvidsson driving in left to right. They'll send it in deep. That line of Arvidsson, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin highly effective the last couple of wins. Edmonton comes into this game having won 4 of 5. Andre Palat dishing. One-timer ripped by Dougie Hamilton. Kicked out. Big rebound by Pickard all the way out to center. They missed Hamilton last year desperately as they, again, fell from a 112-point team all the way down to 81. Hamilton missed 60 games with a torn pec. They were without Hughes, 20 games. His shoulder got banged up. Nico Hischier, the captain, missed 11, underrated player. And a lot of guys just tailed off from the year prior where everything seemed to go right. The only guy who had a career year last year was Jesper Bratt. Dump in by the Devils, Adam Henrique. Boy, did he score a big goal for the Devils. 2012 Eastern Conference Final, Game 6 to eliminate the Rangers and send the Devils to their last Stanley Cup Final. Nurse up through center, reaching forward is Matthias Janmark at the Devils' blue line. He was tripped up and has to back off, and now Paul Cotter will take a pass and work it up the right-hand side. Moments ago, setting up Stefan Nason for the game's only goal. 1-0 New Jersey. Janmark and Henrique challenging, and Henrique blindly shoots into the opposite corner. That's going to be taken by Tatar, and the Devils can fly, as Bob talked about. Tatar puts the brakes on. One-timer ripped by Kovacevic, and a save made by Pickard. A juicy rebound is flipped out safely by Henrique, who took the hit to make the play from McDermott.
And Brown blocked that shot off the inside of his shin pad, and he's certain that's offside.
Kovacevic works his way in, and as Bob indicated, there's a late offside call with 8 1/2 minutes gone by in this first period. Is Brown looking any worse for the wear, or he's staying on the bench?
He's right. He's leaned over on the bench. He's hurting for certain.
So 1-0 New Jersey. Fired Lindy Ruff after last year's disappointment. And again, that was a team that not only had the injury spot, but they had the 27th best save percentage in the league.
That'll do it.
You start a season with Schmid and Vanacek, and I don't think you can call yourself what they thought of themselves, which was a top 5 Eastern Conference contender. And the goaltending ended up letting them down more than anything. Lindy Ruff dismissed. Sheldon Keefe brought in after 5 years in Toronto, where Keefe lost 3 Game 7s and a decisive Game 5 in the bubble. Here's a chance. A wrist shot by Podkolzin, a save, another post, a rebound. Draisaitl had it blocked. Here's a blast by Ekholm, and that stayed out. And Allen scrambling with his back to the play at times, but somehow the puck stays out of the net. The Oilers have hit a bar and a post, and Timo Meier has his clearing pass deflected out of play. And now we've got some pushing and shoving, and it's getting nasty. And the Devils a lot braver with a guy like McDermott in the lineup. Even though he's not on the ice right now, he gives the Devils some team toughness.
Brendan Dillon, too.
Brendan Dillon, a veteran acquisition on the back end. After several years in Winnipeg, he's bounced around a little bit, but a valuable commodity. And a stabilizing presence opposite Dougie Hamilton. I don't think we're going to have any penalties out of this little dust-up, but what a flurry. And Jake Allen having lost track. There was a backhander that either deflected off the post or Dillon himself, who was standing right by the post. I think it was Bouchard who kind of just tossed that into the blue paint.
I mean, you think of him had two pretty good looks here, and Allen fought him off, and then the first chance New Jersey had ends up in the net.
You know what I was thinking of, Bob, during that sequence is what Connor McDavid talked about this morning when he was asked to assess where the team's at. He's like, we're still missing a little bit of polish. And I thought of that with some of the chances we've seen in the first 9 minutes. Nugent Hopkins between Skinner and Hyman off that last flurry to Jake Allen's left-hand side. Nugent Hopkins will be moved out of there, replaced by Hyman. Bouchard and Ekholm, the deep pair, and a face-off win for Zach Hyman. Here's a blast from Bouchard, blocked up top by Palat. Another shot pinballed off of Hyman and actually sailed out of play. Hyman coming into this game with goals in back-to-back contests after going the first 10 without. 10:44 to go, first period, 1-0 Devils. Nason from Cotter, his sixth at 5:18, the difference right now. Nugent Hopkins against Jack Hughes on the face-off, and a clear up the middle. Jack Hughes wears number 86. Younger brother Luke on the back end wears number 43. And not because he's half the player, that's for sure. 47 points last year, but again, the goaltending led to a minus 25 rating for Hughes from the back end. Sent in deep. Bratt will throw it around to Palat, wide open in front, and Jack Hughes mishandled that puck, Bob. Otherwise, he had a point-blank opportunity. Nugent Hopkins cuts to his right, dumps it in. Allen anticipates and slides it over to Bratt. But New Jersey, that was a gaping hole down the seam, Bob.
They've found some of those, haven't they?
Won a game off a stretch pass in here a couple years ago. Emerson guilty of an icing call up the right-hand side. But fortunately for Edmonton, Hughes unable to handle that puck cleanly. And as a result, the game remains just 1-0. 9:59 to play first period. Time for a break. Live from Rogers Place for Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Today you can score at A&W. Enjoy a juicy grass-fed beef mama burger and fries for only $5. This fan at A&W.
Radio Network.
Give Jesper Bratt a second assist on Paul Cotter's primary and Stefan Nason's sixth goal of the year. It's 1-0 New Jersey, a face-off in the neutral zone as we bring you back inside Rogers Place. Similar starting time on Wednesday. Cam Moon and Bob will have that call for you as the Oilers welcome the Vegas Golden Knights to town. Tonight it was 6:46 Mountain Time. On Wednesday it'll be 6:44. Face-off win for Noah Philp. Again, a change on this line. Derek Ryan and Corey Perry are the wingers instead of Drake Caggiula, which was the case last night in Calgary, where Edmonton won 4-2. Game-winning goal by Hyman on the power play with 10 minutes to go. Jersey works to hold the zone, and that puck crawled outside, and that's offside against the Devils, and a face-off coming in front of the Edmonton bench. Go ahead, partner.
I don't know how there wasn't a penalty called there. Philp was held as he's trying to break out of the zone. Had a tough night in the face-off circle, went 1-9. It's 11%, 1-8.
Henry out there with Janmark and Connor Brown. And off the face-off, tossed in deep by Justin Dowling. Retrieved by Tatar. Trying to pass to Dowling that was tipped off Dowling's shoulder, and Nurse was able to gather and clear. Janmark fell down, turned it over, and Tatar will spin and twist it back toward the Oiler net. Calvin Picker to the middle of the ice for Janmark. He'll take a stroll and reload for Edmonton, moving left to right in this opening period. Janmark to Connor Brown. A shot and a save. Juggling act by Jake Allen. He's eventually able to put it to rest, and that's the first shot on goal Edmonton has managed in the last 5 minutes. Got off to a great start. That last 6 minutes, actually. We're out shooting the Devils 5-0. And then as Bob talked about, first chance the Devils got, Cotter able to find a wide-open Stefan Nason in the slot. And he beat Calvin Pickard for the game's only goal. And then Jesper Bratt, a few minutes ago, same thing. Wide open in the slot, only he didn't handle the pass. Draisaitl, back-to-back three-point games without Connor McDavid in the lineup. When he won the Hart Trophy in 2020, the Oilers went 3-2-2 without McDavid, and Draisaitl had a dozen points in those 7 games. Even better production here without his captain. And off the draw, the Devils are able to curl it up the right-hand side. Kovacevic will send it around the boards. Timo Meier scored 15 goals in his last 21 for the Devils last season, and off to a respectable start this year, but bottled up behind the Edmonton net. New Jersey falls back into a defensive posture with 8.5 to go in the period. Bouchard quarterbacking, 5-on-5, finding Ekholm at center ice. Rink wide, Podkolzin double teamed immediately. Siegenthaler able to pry that loose. Kovacevic will play it up the boards. Dawson Mercer did not get it out. Bouchard to Podkolzin. Here's a shot by Ekholm that was tipped and ultimately lofted back towards center. Mercer had a 2-goal game in that aforementioned Jersey loss to Edmonton back on December the 21st. And that 4-goal outburst in the third period triggered a 16-game winning streak, second only to Pittsburgh's 17 in 1993. Devils moving in for the right-hand side. Palat quickly to Jack Hughes from the point. A shot tipped, rebound, and somehow Bratt unable to punch it home. He had 2 great looks, but his stick was broken, and that might have bothered him. Here's a lead pass. Hyman the other way. Wrist shot, and that was fought off by Jake Allen. Rebound, Skinner, sharp angle, and a save made by Allen. Chances at both ends. I thought Bratt was scoring, Bob. That puck was sitting there in the blue paint.
Stick got hacked and whacked on the play.
No penalty was called as it's in shards behind Calvin Pickard.
What a chance for Zach Hyman. The Oilers basically had a 3-on-1 up the ice the other way.
Hyman scored on a similar play in Nashville. That was a stretch pass from Darnell Nurse, scored on a wrist shot off the forehand side, this time denied by Allen on a similar attempt. Corey Perry in on the forecheck with Noah Philp, but Paul Cotter is able to shovel it up the left-hand side. Last couple years with Vegas, including a 13-goal campaign a few years ago when the Golden Knights won the Cup. Here's Noah Philp to Corey Perry through the neutral zone. Dougie Hamilton tries to cut it off and does. Nason a high flip that's going to be settled by Kulak back in his own zone. Quick change for Jersey. Edmonton trying to catch the Devils in it. Emerson will shovel it in. On the puck is Kovacevic, eludes Derek Ryan and Adam Henrique, fires it up the right-hand side, and they're going to wave off icing here. Oilers back in their own zone, getting worked over. Hard forecheck, McDermott trying to rough up Ty Emerson. Justin Dowling joins the fray. It's out to the point. Siegenthaler looks for a lane, had his shot blocked. Got it back to Tatar. 6-time 20-goal scorer, playing on the 4th line for New Jersey. Tomas Tatar, double team, coughed it up. And now streaking down the right-hand side, Connor Brown, but Siegenthaler will gather, and then he blew a wheel, fell into the board, centering pass. Henrique denied on the doorstep for a 3rd time. Jake Allen stoned him. And Henrique probably could have a hat trick in this game as well. Scored 4 goals against this old team last year. Here's a chance, and Pickard off a Edmonton turnover, able to deny Timo Meier, who was set up by Dawson Mercer, and both teams leaking glorious chances, Bob. 5:41 to go in the first period. It's 1-0 Devils. And trust us, that's probably the lowest scoring game you could envision in this one. Great chances, both sides. The Devils have the game's only goal. We're back with more first period play-by-play in just a moment. It's Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network. Bob and I expending an entertaining game, and we've gotten one. The teams have split 18 shots on net, several of the quality variety. Not all shots have counted. Henrique hit a crossbar. He's had 2 other terrific chances. The Devils as well, opportunities to extend the lead, haven't done it. It's 1-0. The one goal that did go in belongs to Stefan Nason. Here's a turnover by the Oilers. Wrist shot, and somehow, again, Jesper Bratt had an empty net, and again, he hit some bodies in front with Pickard down and out.
Well, Bouchard, a soft play, but I think he blocked that one with his,
He did.
With his butt.
Posterior. Bouchard back on his feet against Jack Hughes. Wow, both teams have given up some great A's in this first period. Bouchard left to right, chips it to himself. From the right corner, he'll send it around the boards. Draisaitl had it, lost it at his feet, and Dawson Mercer lifts it ahead. Streaking forward is Meyer. They'll wave off icing as Timo Meyer able to gather a center off the stick of Calvin Pickard, and a shaky clear up the middle is held in by Brendan Dillon. Now Heeshear will drop it back to Dillon. The wily veteran pokes it down low, shot by Hamilton from a sharp angle, and a save by Pickard, and he needed to make it because Mercer was perched right in front of him. 4.5 to go in the first period. Devils won, the Oilers no score, and I don't think Sheldon Keefe or Chris Knobloch will be turning cartwheels about how the clubs have played defensively in this opening 20.
Did that get a piece of the right shoulder of Bouchard, I think?
Brett had the net to himself. I thought it got him on the right wrist, but tough to tell. I don't think it hit a post.
All that matters is it did not end up in the net.
Right. From an Oiler perspective, quite relieved not to be down 2 or 3-0. Yet at the other end, Edmonton's had some point-blank looks. Hyman and Henrique hit a bar, and now Hyman up the right-hand side. For the Oilers off the draw. He'll take it into the offensive zone. Checked by Eric Halla. Hyman rolls up in front. Shot. Backhander. Save made. Point blank on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Had his stick tied up and then was smashed from behind by Halla. No penalty was called as going tumbling into the boards was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Back on his feet, getting worked over. Out to Troy Stetcher. Threw it across to Nurse. Wrist shot. And that was kicked out by Allen. Rebound poked free by Nason and cleared off the stick of Nurse and back to Troy Stetcher. Stetcher up the right-hand side for Jeff Skinner. A little spin move, digging after it. Ultimately freeing the puck up was Brendan Dillon, but it's turned over, and now Siegenthaler has to defend, and did so expertly against Jeff Skinner. Devils the other way, and boy, they can move it. Return pass to Jesper Bratt out of his reach. Siegenthaler, Bratt to Palat, and a centering pass broken up. When the Devils are in motion, Bob, that's when they're at their most dangerous.
We know that. They can skate, and the Oilers' fastest, most explosive player, who happens to be the fastest, most explosive player in the world, he's not available.
Correct. McDavid missing his third straight game as the Oilers take an icing call with 3:18 to go in this first period. A high event period, and somehow the score is a rather diminutive 1-0 for New Jersey. Stefan Nason.
Connor McDavid's got 27 points in 15 career games against the Devils.
He's never gone a game against the Devils without getting a point. So nearly 2 a game. Leon Draisaitl has points in 8 straight against New Jersey, 11 in 17 for his career in terms of goals. So a face-off, right side of goaltender Calvin Pickard. Adam Henrique, who spent 6.5 years with the New Jersey Devils, wins a face-off. Brett Kulak up the left-hand side, and this time no icing. And settled by Allen. Here's a pass for Paul Connor, Luke Hughes, wearing Paul Connor's old number in Vegas, but no excuse for that little mishap. Nevertheless, the Devils able to get it in deep. Brett Kulak up the left-hand side. Janmark to Connor Brown, chipped in, and Hughes will gather for the Devils. The second-year defenseman up to Tatar. And now you've got Heeshear, left circle, kicks it back. Shot by Meyer, blocked by Draisaitl. Threw it behind the net, did Meyer, cut off by Matthias Ekholm. Janmark sent off balance. Heeshear lost his stick. Retrieves on the fly as Bouchard golfs it into the offensive zone for Edmonton. Played up the right-hand side, and Cotter got hammered on that far side by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Paul Cotter's only fight in the NHL was against Troy Stetcher. Wristed down deep, Evan Bouchard. Round the boards, kick back behind to Hamilton by Nason, the man with the only goal tonight. Up the right-hand side, Cotter didn't get it out. Halla pinned his man against the boards, Arvidsson, and that allows Paul Cotter the ample room to move it down the left-hand side and ultimately toss behind the Edmonton goal line. Less than 2 minutes to go in the first period. New Jersey 1, Edmonton no score. Evan Bouchard able to wrestle control the puck away from New Jersey. Off to Podkolzin. Drop pass Derek Ryan. Shot kick save made by Allen. Rebound gathered by McDermott. Swiftly up to Tatar and sent in deep. Devils in on the forecheck. Dowling won't get there. Pickard first on the puck. Derek Ryan working hard against Tatar to get it out. Tatar kept it alive momentarily, but now Ryan emerges from the zone and finds an activating Stetcher. Pass just out of the reach of Corey Perry. Tries to make a move through Kovacevic, and now it's played back to the point by Philp to Darnell Nurse. He tried to rim it. It was blocked by McDermott. Nurse was able to knock that down and try to catch New Jersey in a change. Nurse spun himself into the ice surface, however, and off that turnover, it'll be Dowling to Brendan Dillon, who lays it off the plexi back to center. Nurse, having recovered, had it, lost it. Quick shot by Bratt, and that was deflected away with a minute to go in the period, and the Devils still leading 1-0. Jeff Skinner on the puck against Palat. Up top for Brett Pesce. Waits and shoots, and a save made by Calvin Pickard. And that subtle move by Pesce, the head and shoulder fake to create a lane for himself, is why you and I have always liked this 10-year pro. 46 seconds to go in the first, 1-0 for the Devils.
Yeah, they had him and Slavin. Elected to give Slavin the long-term extension, and the Devils had cap space. Jack, I mean, you look, they've invested 3 top 10 picks in the last 4 years on defense. Only one of them's playing tonight. He's pretty good. And that's Hughes.
Nemitz was the second overall pick a couple of years ago, who played 60 games last season for the Devils and has played 9 for New Jersey this year. But right now, the odd man out on the back end. Off the face-off, Ekholm and Bouchard control with a half minute to go in this first period. The Oilers trail by a score of 1-0, looking to win their third straight for the first time this year. Draisaitl from Adam Henrique. Run off the puck behind the New Jersey net, and Brendan Dillon will take it out of his own zone. Spilled in by Timo Meier with 15 seconds to go. Ekholm plays it up to Bouchard. Let it go through to Connor Brown. Conservatively back to Bouchard. Stretch play to Leon Draisaitl, and he'll shake free of traffic in the form of Pesce. Centering pass broken up by Dillon. Ekholm at the horn tries to center, and that went off Adam Henrique. And the Oilers, despite numerous chances to score, Jake Allen, it wasn't always pretty, but he battled, and he ends up being credited with 13 first-period saves. The Oilers trail 1-0 after a high-event opening 20 that I don't think, quite frankly, either coach will be thrilled with.
I got the A-grade scoring opportunities, 4-3 for Edmonton in that period. They had some looks. They just didn't capitalize, and multiple looks to Adam Henrique, and he did hit the post. That doesn't count as
Broadcast booth. Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer with you. Want to advise everyone the 50-50 jackpot up to $500,000, and the early bird prizing for tonight, $1,000 Ice District Authentics gear plus $2,000 cash. Only Bob and I were eligible. I know Torrey and Hudson enjoy their occasional Oiler gear off the draw.
They've never worn any.
You've got Ekholm up the right-hand side. Bouchard. Don't break our confidence, Bob. People are we're trying to promote the Ice District Authentics.
That's all good. They can. I have about the most obscure stat possible coming up, so let me know when I can squeeze it in.
Related to memorabilia or
to this game?
To this game. Okay, go ahead.
Tonight, Mark. So we'll wait till.
Here's Draisaitl giving it up for Victor Arvidsson. His shot elevated up and out of play. 40 seconds gone by, second period. Okay, go ahead.
Tonight marks the first time since April 1st of 1984 that 2 former graduates of the University of Alberta Golden Bears played for the same NHL team in the same NHL game. Last time it happened, Wade Campbell and Don Spring played for Tom Watt and the Winnipeg Jets in an end-of-the-season regular season game.
So Herbie never skated with
Corey Cross, no. Not according to my U of A source.
All right.
And if he's wrong, there's going to be... Oh,
here's Derek Ryan, who's had a lot of success against Jersey, by the way. 7 goals in 16 career games against the Devils.
Kind of thought he got cleaved there, didn't you?
Well, I think it was more of a face wash than a stick.
Well, we're not
Here's
calling those
Hamilton
anymore.
will dump it in. And that's going to be settled by Calvin Pickard. Reversed by Darnell Nurse up to Troy Stetcher, the outlet pass on target for Corey Perry. With a flick of the wrist, he'll put it in deep. Paul Cotter being harassed by Noah Philp, who, of course, is the other University of Alberta skater in there, along with the veteran Derek Ryan. Battling. Derek Ryan will turn 38 next month. Wristed around by Brett Kulak. Up the left-hand side, Brendan Dillon, and then he'll traverse the length of the ice. You would have met Derek Ryan at first when he was about, 22, 21?
Yep, 20. Yep, 21-year-old year at U of A. 07-08.
Here's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins gathering himself, sprinting to center, and dumping it behind the New Jersey defense. 1-0 Devils. The only goal scored, Stefan Nason. 5 minutes into this game. Set up for Bratt and Cotter. Bratt on the move, but his cross-icer intended for Luke Hughes was broken up, and off an Edmonton dump, and Brett Pesce will give it back to Bratt. Play off the wall for Jack Hughes, who thus far has been held totally in check. Turned over, Nugent-Hopkins. Hughes' best chance came on a pass to the middle that he bobbled and never got a shot away. It was wide open at the slot, and now an unforced error by Edmonton leads to an icing call with 2 1/4 gone by in this second period. Edmonton having outshot New Jersey 13-10, yet trailing on the scoreboard 1-0 on the second of a back-to-back. Where again, they're 0 for 2 this season. Last year, they were 5-5 in the second of a back-to-back. This year, I believe they have 12 sets of back-to-backs.
The one thing that concerns me a bit with the Oilers on the back-to-backs is they're an older team.
So you're thinking that early leg energy might tail off later in the game. Off the face-off, McDermott plays it back to the point. Shot by Kovacevic. Right pad save made by Calvin Pickard. Rebound. Siegenthaler tried to hold it in, but ultimately carried out. And up the ice by Zach Hyman. Lost the handle at the New Jersey Devil blue line. Fired in by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Tomas Tatar. Under pressure, Kovacevic to Siegenthaler. Play off the wall, McDermott, and then lifted off glass. That's going to be turned over. And here's Janmark given a second opportunity in the offensive zone for Edmonton. Justin Dowling tries to disrupt the cycle and does so. McDermott slow to move the puck up to Tatar, and Ekholm able to take over. Here's a steal by Kovacevic down the middle of the ice. Looks, shoots, and that was blocked by Bouchard. He had Tatar on his wing, couldn't get it to him. The outlet for Janmark, and now Connor Brown will dump it in for Edmonton. Back to get it in the corner, Meyer and Dougie Hamilton. Wrestled free by Meyer. He in turn had it stolen. And Heischer snatched it right back for New Jersey. Played up the right-hand side. Darnell Nurse first on the puck. Troy Stetcher right-hand side for Connor Brown. Heischer, the first overall pick in 2017. Jack Hughes 2 years later, drafted first overall by the New Jersey Devils. But Colson mishandled the puck at center. Dawson Mercer will go cross-ice. Wristed down deep by Brendan Dillon. Played in the corner by Podkolzin, back to Nurse, and over to Troy Stetcher behind the Edmonton net. Held in by Jesper Bratt for a moment, and Brown able to break free. We have not had a penalty called in this game. A dump in, Jake Allen up the right-hand side. Andre Palat. Turned over. Arvidsson gets it back from Draisaitl and had his pocket picked by Jack Hughes. Then Kulak on a pass into his feet from Arvidsson couldn't get a shot away. Podkolzin burrowing in against Palat. Draisaitl had trouble controlling the puck, got it back for Podkolzin, and now the Devils will come up with it, and it's Jack Hughes. The win over Calgary last night marked the first time this season Edmonton won a game that did not involve a fighting major. Emerson up the right-hand side. Kovacevic batted one down, a clear by Paul Cotter, and that chases the Oilers back through the neutral zone. Arvidsson will give way to Ty Emerson. 15:20 to play, second period. And a 1-0 lead for the New Jersey Devils, who defend their line well. Luke Hughes up to Eric Haula. Had a huge year in Vegas one year. 29 goals. Lead past Paul Cotter. Cross ice, out of the reach of Haula, who can fly. Chipped up the right-hand side and out by Zach Hyman. Corralled by Jonathan Kovacevic. And the Devils left to right. They're in the white uniforms. Oilers in the blue. Playing at home this year. Edmonton a record of 2-3-1. Emerson to Jeff Skinner. Breaking loose as Hyman. Put the brakes on. Skinner, a quick shot. A save made by Allen. And Nugent-Hopkins could have come up with a rebound. It's Heeshear trading the puck with Dawson Mercer as the Devils come the other way. Centering pass for Heeshear off the mark, and Bouchard in full flight. Will move it swiftly to Zach Hyman. Tapped free, Nugent Hopkins following the play, and a hard hit on Pesce delivered by Hyman. Here's a clear for Siegenthaler. That's snagged by Bouchard. Play left-hand side for Adam Henrique. He'll swat it in deep. Siegenthaler reverses to Pesce. Quickly nudged up the right-hand side. Not out. Man fell down. That was clean. Henrique lost an edge and a big hit laid on Dawson Mercer by Troy Stetcher. Nurse off that dump in. Will play it up the right-hand side. A steal, Justin Dowling. He'll chip it back in. New Jersey had to get back on side, and that allows Nurse ample time to find Troy Stetcher. Dowling shook the puck free, but it was fired in by Janmark. Allen couldn't get a stick on it, and the Oilers pour back into the offensive zone. More than 6 minutes into this second period, we've only had one shot for either side as the teams have tightened up. Here's a puck coming free, short side, and a save Allen on Connor Brown. So just as I say that, the Oilers catch a break, and Brown gifted a point-blank chance short side, but Jake Allen able to seal it up for his 15th save of the night. And with 13:36 to go in the second period, we'll take a break from sold-out Rogers Place, downtown Edmonton, New Jersey. A 1-0 lead on a Monday night at Rogers. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
Looking for custom flags?
1-0 hockey game in favor of New Jersey. Offensive zone draw for the Oilers. Draisaitl digs in against Nico Heeshear. Face off, won by the Oilers. Ekholm a shot that was heading wide, and Jake Allen will put it to rest anyways. Allen won a cup in a backup role behind Jordan Binnington in 2019 as part of an 8-year run in St. Louis.
Kind of lost his job that year. Bennington.
Not kind of, he did.
Right. All the way up from the ECHL, Bennington.
What did Binnington go? Something like 20-3 down the stretch. I mean, it's hard to keep your job when a guy goes on that kind of heater.
Yep.
And he hasn't been that good again. Here's Draisaitl off the draw, centering pass, and somehow Podkolzin missed an empty net.
Oh.
That would have been his first goal since March of 2023.
That's an absolute sitter that has to be deposited in a net.
Well, and that's the kind of goal you don't get when you haven't scored in nearly 2 years.
Like, perfectly executed play.
Wow. Devils bring it the other way. Brett Pesce down low. Podkolzin has not scored officially in 32 NHL games. Remember, he only played a partial season last year in Vancouver as he fell out of favor with Rick Tocchet. Jack Hughes into the offensive zone. One-timer Siegenthaler blocked by Podkolzin. Rebound, Hughes whips a shot toward the net. That was blocked. Siegenthaler. Kovacevic across to Hughes, who bunts it into the opposite corner for Timo Meier. Flashed out to the point. Siegenthaler. Meier's fellow Swiss watches as a long shot from Bratt disappears into the glove of Calvin Pickard. And it looked like Bratt was disappointed that the Devils didn't have any sort of net front presence there for a tip.
Still trying to figure out how Colson's kind of dejected going back to the bench. Like a perfectly executed play.
Oh, goodness. He might have had his stick tied up a little bit by Luke Hughes at the last instance, Bob. What do you make of this? Did he got a little bit tied up, but still you'd like to see him slide it home there.
I tell you, he's got to put that one in.
Yeah. Off the draw, Jesper Bratt gives it up, shot, deflected. Pickard has no idea where the puck was. It landed at the feet of Darnell Nurse and then rifled up the middle by Nugent Hopkins. There won't be icing here as Hyman was picked out of the play. Jeff Skinner able to keep it alive. Tuck it inside Nugent Hopkins to Hyman. Had his shot blocked. Rebound Nurse. Off to Nugent Hopkins, and the Devils giving chase a bit in the offensive zone. Nugent Hopkins a shot briefly. Jake Allen lost sight of the puck, and now we're going to have our first penalty of the night. It'll be Zach Hyman, offensive zone penalty, and the Oilers are frustrated. They felt like they could have drawn a call or two in the preceding sequence. Instead, it'll be a slash against Hyman, and our first power play of the night arrives with 12 minutes to play in period 2.
Never been a big fan of having referees work back-to-back games of the same teams. I realize it's economical for the league. You've only missed 4 so far.
Oh, it's an embellishment. They evened it up.
Yeah, okay.
So all of a sudden, are you okay now?
Well, to be honest with you, I thought only Hyman was going to get the call, and it was probably warranted. My issue was the 3 that have been missed prior to that time they even that up. That's
Hamilton did lift his right arm as though he had been stung by an avalanche of bees. In any event,
sniper got him.
The embellishment called, and thus we have a 4-on-4 situation here. So open ice with the coincidentals. Draisaitl off the draw, flashed it back to Bouchard, loading up his Ekholm against Nico Hischier. Ekholm cuts behind the net, left all alone for a moment, now look to drop it off. Arvidsson is out there with Draisaitl in this 4-on-4 up front. Bouchard and Ekholm, of course, paired together, and Bouchard running Mercer ragged. Draisaitl, rink wide to Arvidsson. Bouchard high slot, Ekholm. Defended by Siegenthaler. Now Draisaitl looking for space. Poised for the puck as ever. 9 goals, 16 points to lead the Oilers coming in. Bouchard to the net. Wrist shot save. Allen held sway. And then Draisaitl determined took that rebound from Mercer. Just overpowered him. Ekholm to Draisaitl. Waits, dishes. And Arvidsson taken out by Dawson Mercer. Crowd wanted a call done forthcoming. Draisaitl shot blocked. The Devils another chance to get it out. Can't get it done. Ekholm, Bouchard, and Edmonton keeps the pressure on Arvidsson. Wide open. Left face off dot. Looks to unload. Doesn't shoot. Lays it off to Bouchard instead. Ekholm one more time. Takes a peek. Glides behind the net using a screen. Mercer tracking. In the meantime, a change made. And onto the ice comes Adam Henrique. Bouchard taken out of the play. Devils 2-on-2 the other way, left to right. Hischier at the end of his shift. Cross ice, open man, wrist shot, and that was wired wide. Was that another chance for Jesper Bratt? Boy, he has had some, or excuse me, that was Hughes.
And a lot of heat.
That was Jack Hughes, and he blistered that one wide. Jack Hughes, a 99-point campaign 2 years ago. In over the line at 43 goals that season. Tried to tuck it inside. Taken away by Adam Henrique. Lead pass, left-hand side, Darnell Nurse. Still 10 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Nurse short side, and Allen able to keep that one out. Rebound, Bratt. Looks up ice for Hughes, his running mate. Instead, Kovacevic up to Luke Hughes. The penalties are over. 5-on-5. Luke Hughes' shot deflected by Kulak off the side of the net and eventually collected by Nugent Hopkins. Devils a late change. Nugent Hopkins rink wide, and on the puck is Zach Hyman. Fresh out of the box. And with fresh legs, he tries to move it to the interior. Intercepted and brought the other way to Hughes by Eric Halla. Calvin Pickard out to handle the puck to Troy Stetcher. He'll shovel it up the boards. Played back by Nason to Brett Pesce. He tried to hit a cutting Paul Cotter, but that pass behind him, and Corey Perry picked it off to Emberson, who then angles one off the boards back towards center. Pesce under control with a puck for New Jersey through the neutral zone. Noah Philp took it cleanly for Paul Cotter, and now Connor Brown moves in left wing for the Oilers. A shot stick save, Allen. Rebound out to Stetcher, and his shot was interfered with by Tomas Tatar at the last instant. Connor Brown behind the net for Corey Perry, out of his reach. Cotter first on the puck for New Jersey. 9 minutes to play, second period. Devils still lead at 1-0 on that first period goal. 5 minutes in. Siegenthaler, icing will be waved off here. That could have been icing as Tatar went in on the forecheck, but Ekholm worked it free for Corey Perry, and now driving the right-hand side, Connor Brown, cross ice, one-timer, and a save made on Derek Ryan, who did not get all he wanted on that shot, Bob. Ekholm across, Bouchard faked the slapper, got right around McDermott, and then when he tried to center, Dougie Hamilton was able to pick it off. Oh, Hamilton gave it right back to Bouchard, who in turn was stripped from behind by Tatar, and the teams continue to trade one turnover after another. I don't know what the official giveaway takeaway is tonight. Bouchard, Janmark, one-timer, crushed right into the midsection of Jake Allen, who makes his 20th save of the night. The shots in this period are 7-1 in favor of Edmonton, and yet the Oilers have been unable to tie the game. It's still 1-0 for New Jersey. The game's only goal belongs to Stefan Nason, and we come right back to Rogers Place in downtown Edmonton in just a moment with more Ford Dealers NHL hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Bloom Benefits offers amazing coverage that even the toughest hockey
will follow it up one more time. But Coles in each of the last 2 games has made plays leading directly to Leon Draisaitl's goals. And Leon Draisaitl tried to set him up moments ago, and Podkolzin missed an empty net. Lifted in by Dawson Mercer. Draisaitl with 9 goals, Bob. Only Hischier and 4 other players have more with 10.
Right now, the Oilers probably deserve a better fate than to not have a goal on 21 shots. They played pretty well here.
Ekholm, left-hand side. Nugent Hopkins streaks in. Centers, and that was punched just over the net. What a drive by Zach Hyman as he tried to redirect it over Jake Allen and just missed. Crashed into Allen and then the net post. Goal off its moorings. It was 7:04 to go in the second period. Face-off upcoming with New Jersey still clinging to that 1-0 lead, but another good look and right on the tape from Nugent Hopkins. Hyman unable to find the range, and the face-off will come outside the blue line right in front of the Oiler bench, patrolled by Chris Knobloch, who's doppelganger in the building, and a chance to chat with Dave Haxtell from Irma, Alberta, former head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers and the Seattle Kraken, now doing some scouting for himself, independent scouting, and taking a year to reassess. Dougie Hamilton, I'm sure we'll see him behind a bench not too far in the distant future. Driving in left-hand side, Hughes gives it up. Jesper Bratt to the point. Dougie Hamilton a drive and a save made by Calvin Pickard, and he'll put that puck to rest. His 11th stop of the night with 6:40 to go in the second, and the New Jersey Devils still leading by a score of 1-0. Devils last year without Hischier and Hughes in the lineup together. That's their 1-2 punch down the middle. This is what I mean by the fact that they're just as valuable to Jersey maybe as McDavid and Draisaitl are to Edmonton, or at least in the same paragraph. 9-16-1 when they were missing one or both of them. And that's a 60-point pace, and that's enough to drop you out of the playoffs.
Didn't
By Bouchard, poke checked off his stick by Nason.
Upper time signature.
Still the owner of the only goal this hockey
Tempo
game.
it.
Came 5 minutes in. And it's still
Snapchat box chip.
The 5-minute with control the puck. Siegenthaler and Kovacevic trade in their own end. And then Siegenthaler's stick exploded on him. He's able to soccer up to center, but off that break, it's Corey Perry to Derek Ryan and now Evan Bouchard. He loads up. He waits. He shoots. And that just stayed out. High blocker. Rebound, battled for, and ultimately covered with Hyman and Perry buzzing that Devils net. A great break for Edmonton. And then Bouchard just misses short side against the blocker of Jake Allen. And the Oilers unable to come up with a rebound. Allen does, freezes it, and allows us one last break here in the second period where the Devils have been dominated, but they still lead at 1-0 on the strength of Jake Allen's 21 saves through 35 minutes. We're live at Rogers Place with Fort Oilers NHL Hockey. Do it. Radio Network.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 Select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Hockey is back, and so is Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sports book and the official partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Cheer for the Oilers while scoring bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. Already a player? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Download the new Sportsbook app and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Blue-collar work deserves big dollar perks. Get a heavy wallet with heavy metal equipment and rentals. Heavy metal equipment and rentals is hiring heavy equipment technicians, maintenance supervisors, PM servicemen, maintenance coordinators, and pretty much every other position that makes Alberta go. We help move the earth that makes Alberta grow. So why not work for a company that makes your bank account grow too? Visit heavymetalequipment.com metal equipment and rentals, helping you move the earth.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 Select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
All games, all seasons. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Face off to Jake Allen's left-hand side. Less than 5 minutes to play in the second period. They've seen Edmonton out shoot New
Yes.
Jersey 8-2.
Yeah.
But still, the score remains Devils 1 and the Oilers no score. Luke Hughes rifles a pass left side.
Oh, the adapter doesn't work.
Grab by Troy
This
Stecher
one, the
for
adapter
Edmonton.
doesn't work.
He's here again, tied for the league lead with
Didn't
10
work.
goals coming in
What
this
happened to
game.
it? Is it broken?
He's
It
got a
is
31
broken.
goal
This little
season.
piece here.
Oh, it broke.
Solid two-way
Ah,
series.
boo. Goodbye.
Bad
Timo
after.
Meyer.
See this new one.
Flipped up the right-hand side by Corey Perry, looking for Derek Ryan. That was broken up. Now the Oilers have to tag back onside. Noah Philp recognized that. He backs off. Brett Pesce scampers up the right-hand side, and it's lifted in deep by Heishier. Calvin Pickard will drop it off for Troy Stecher. Calvin Pickard, 32 years of age, limbering up yesterday before Calgary, doing a little hip exercises. Told me he's got to do those now at 32 to 22. Yeah, too many men, no question. And the Devils lead and get the first power play of the hockey game, timed 16:06, and that's a bit of a gift. And Bob, as you know, the Devils have not been a good 5-on-5 team thus far this year. But on the power play and on the penalty kill, they've been very good. Power play clicking along at 29%. Meyer and the Devils bench quickly alerting the officials that Edmonton had too many, and that's
You don't get much more obvious than that. The Oilers' face-offs this year are sliding a bit, but they're still fourth in the league, 54.7. The Devils at 50.7. But this game,
Oilers need a kill here. 61% dead last in the league, Bob. They keep getting nicked.
Yeah.
As you said, everything that could go wrong does go wrong on the penalty kill through the first 12
it's a
games.
huge kill right now. I was going to say, Edmonton's won 65% of the draws in this game.
13 goals allowed in 12 games for Edmonton's penalty killers. It's brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. And off the draw, Darnell Nurse will start the kill on the right foot with a drive up the left-hand side. Henrique, Nugent-Hopkins, and Ekholm round out the penalty-killing quartet. Devils bring it up ice. Bratt at center, weaving his way in and dishing off to Dougie Hamilton. Now Jack Hughes. Hamilton up top. Heishier, one-timer score. And the Devils extend to a 2-0 lead. And it's Jesper Bratt squeezing it through the 5-hole of Calvin Pickard. I don't know what it is, Bob, but it's Bratt more than any other Devil that sticks out as a guy who always seemed to stick it to Edmonton. That's his 7th goal in 11 career games against the Oilers.
And the Oilers' penalty-killing woes continue.
That was well executed.
It was. And, you know, part of why they're going well in the power play is just the quickness of the puck movement. They're not static.
Time 16:34 on the power play. And the Devils do have a 2-0 lead. Bratt, just his 3rd goal of the season.
This was always going to be a tough game, even if you had Connor and David second of it back-to-back against a fast team like this. And it didn't help that they were poor in Calgary on Friday night.
Sent in deep. Devils pour into the offensive zone. Heishier with the primary helper, Hamilton's secondary. And as you mentioned, Bob, all 5 players touched the puck on that power play goal. Sent in deep. And Heishier, you know, that short little pass, just it's a microcosm of what his game is all about. He's kind of their Nugent-Hopkins. Makes all the fundamental plays at both ends of the rink and has just enough elite skill.
Yeah, he's become Nuge does have a 100-point season, but Heishier's a heck of a player.
Here's Zach Hyman in over the line, left wing, tries to tuck it inside, poke checked away. Derek Ryan trying to jam it home, and he's had a couple of looks tonight as Luke Hughes had him tied up, 2:37 to go in the second period. And I will give Luke Hughes some credit here. He tied up Colson's stick a little bit, and that time with Derek Ryan at the doorstep, he was able to deny Ryan a real look, along with an old-school poke check from Jake Allen.
Allen's had a good game, Jack.
Well, he's perfect on 22 shots. 2-0.
It's tough to be better on those 22 shots.
I was going to say, he's a proven goalie. He's in his 13th year. He's logged a lot of tough miles. He's played behind good teams, played behind bad teams. He's seen it all, as you usually do when you're a decade plus in the league. Off the draw, Hamilton and Podkolzin engaged behind the New Jersey net. Carefully brought up the left-hand side by Hischier. And from center ice, it's worked ahead. A big hit. Bratt was flattened by Darnell Nurse. Thrust around the boards, Brett Kulak. Now Podkolzin will gain the line. Drop pass for Draisaitl. Centering pass off the stick of Allen up on the glass. Arvidsson held the zone, albeit momentarily. Forced back to center with less than 2 minutes to play in the second period. I'll tell you what, the crowd has been quieted by that second New Jersey goal. Here's Leon Draisaitl hustling through the middle of the ice. Dishing off, getting it back against Dillon, centering pass. Arvidsson couldn't find it. Now Troy Stetcher spins, and likewise he lost it off his backhand. Edmonton lacking that fine polish. Centering pass quickly tipped on net. A save on Podkolzin by Jake Allen, and Podkolzin continues to be snake bit. I would suggest to you Dan Vladar's best save of the night last night in Calgary was against Podkolzin.
Excellent play from Emerson. He activated down the right side and then short side pass in front. Podkolzin nearly tapped that one home. And Hughes got her, but there he got a little lucky there. Jake Allen. And it's been part of the storyline here tonight.
25 career shutouts for Jake Allen. And he already has a shutout to his credit this season as he bageled Utah. Off the draw, you've got Jack Hughes behind the net for Brett Pesce. Lead pass left wing. Oh, blowing a wheel was Emerson. Here's a gift, but Hischier could not thread it through to Stephen Mason. Wow, the Devils might rue that missed opportunity to gain a stranglehold on this game. Emerson just fell down, and Hischier could not get it through to Nason. I was a little surprised he didn't shoot that puck. Edmonton on it. Brett Kulak working his way up the right-hand side. Emerson, who shoots it in with a minute to go in the second period. Allen between the wickets for Brett Pesce. Looks up ice, feeds Jack Hughes to the middle, and the Devils unable to come up with it. 3-on-2 for the Oilers. Right to left, Henrique to the TSN mark. Centering pass deflected up in the air, batted it around, and Jake Allen's got it. And that pass just a little behind the end mark. Again, the finer points of the offensive finish do not seem to be there through nearly 40 minutes for Edmonton. 40 seconds to go in the period still. 2-0 for New Jersey.
If you had told me that Edmonton would be out shooting New Jersey 24-13 late in the second period here,
you're probably thinking 2-0 Edmonton.
I would take that all day. Coming off the second of a back-to-back, Oilers are going to load up their top line for the final 41 seconds of this period.
Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman on the ice. 5-on-5 with 40 seconds to go here. Ekholm and Bouchard face off right side of Jake Allen. Draisaitl beaten off the draw by Eric Holland. Puck in the corner, trapped, four-player scrum. Chiseling, digging hard. Zach Hyman, he went down. Draisaitl rigged behind the net by Kovacevic. She was careful not to take a holding penalty and allow Timo Meier to wedge that down the ice. So it'll be icing against New Jersey. And Dawson Mercer a little frustrated. He didn't get the call. Another first-round pick that the Devils picked up back in 2020. He's had a couple of 20-goal seasons, including last year.
He works. See, they added the size in the offseason on the backhand. Getting Dillon and Kovacevic, and then obviously a guy who can really play in Pesce.
Well, the other thing you like about Mercer is he's never missed a game, Bob. In his fourth year, he's durable. And that's one of the underrated qualities. They're going to drop this puck again. Libor Sakonic wants to drop it again. That's one of the underrated qualities when we get asked about McDavid and Draisaitl. People forget part being a great player has always been there. And I know McDavid's out right now, but he's going to be back soon. These guys don't miss more than a handful of games a year, and most of the time they don't miss any. Draisaitl wins the faceoff. Bouchard to drive, and that was blocked. He'll keep it in, though. Devils had a chance to get it out. Did not do it. Shoveled out to the point. One-timer Bouchard deflected right in front, and that might have hurt Siegenthaler. He's going to be okay. The Devils will skate out the remaining time as the Oilers just kind of packed it in for the rest of the period. And Kovacevic, I don't think Edmonton realized they had 5 or 6 seconds there, and Kovacevic was the only man skating. And just leisurely strolled up the center to melt the remaining time of the clock. And as Bob mentioned, despite holding New Jersey to was trying to fool Allen there as he kind of made a move toward rimming and then shooting from beyond the blue line, but Allen held his position.
Many devices changed
Away.
no, but yes, but
we saw that executed one time at St. Paul
do not
years
ask
ago.
again, check box unchecked.
You know who could do it well was Lyle Odoin.
Yes, no. Yes, N-Track has detected a new MIDI device. Do you want to use it?
Lyle Odoin was a guy that was really good at
Do
that
not,
fake
yes,
dumping
but
sometimes.
N-Track's contact.
Catch the goaltender cheating a bit.
Draisaitl going to be waved out of the circle here. Face off to Allen's right-hand side. Nico Hischier, the New Jersey Devils captain.
N-Track Studio. Full
Now in his 8th year, will
N-Track
dig in
Studio
against
evaluation.
Arvidsson.
Context menu.
Tie-up, draw situation,
Context menu.
squirted loose to
N-Track
Bouchard.
Studio evaluation.
Slide
Context.
step to his right.
Context.
Draisaitl
Context
pressure by
menu.
Siegenthaler. Shook up
Mixer.
that center.
Context.
And it was broken
Toolbar.
up. And
Editing.
it drifts
Playback.
outside the zone.
Recording. VUC. Big time F.
Arvidsson
Metronome.
to Evan
Tempo.
Bouchard. Opening minute, third period.
Test.
The Oilers
Tempo.
trail
Show editor.
2-0 on home ice.
Custom
And once
one.
again, Bob, it
Test
seems
button.
like
Tempo.
every year,
Test.
early in the season, the Oilers are better
Tempo
on the
button.
road than they are
Show
at
editor
home.
button. Show ball
Bouchard
button.
to Perry, but done
Help
a lot of
button.
things right
Close.
tonight.
Metronome
Perry
check
tried
box
to break
unchecked.
back to his backhand, couldn't
Check.
get a shot away against Luke Hughes.
Help button.
Kept alive by
Show ball.
Arvidsson
Show
out
editor
to
button.
Bouchard and then Ekholm. High slot.
Tempo button.
Draisaitl. He was chopped down, and that'll be our first
Tempo
penalty of the
button.
night. That will
Tempo
result
button.
in an Edmonton power play.
Show
It's
editor.
Nico
Show ball.
Hischier, the
Show
captain,
editor.
who chopped Leon Draisaitl down.
Plug in properties. Plug in.
I thought it was Hischier, but no, they're going to say
Test.
instead
Test. Tempo
Timo
button.
Meier.
Show editor. Tempo button. Tempo evolution.
Yeah, you could have called
Tempo
it either,
evolution.
to be honest with you. They got Meier in from the right-hand side.
Tempo evolution. With 1:1:0:0:0 selected.
It's Meier.
I'd rather have Hischier in the box.
1:1:120.00.
Talking about a reliable guy in all situations. It's
Show
Nico
tempo button.
Hischier. Face
Show
off
editor.
right-hand
Show
side of Jake
no.
Allen.
Show
He's going to take the
test.
draw here. Draisaitl
Tempo button.
went to see Brad Harrison there, and they took a look at his skate.
Show it. Show met output mini
So
volume.
Meier in the box.
Volume. Volume.
Hischier
Open but when to
stays out
when
to
to
take the
when
draw
to
against
use
Draisaitl.
when to
Bouchard
use edit
behind
30
stacks of paint.
when to use edit
Nugent Hopkins
38
and Ekholm round
spin
out
one spinner
this Echo
more
Energy
but
power
less
play in it, which
edit
came through
spin
last
edit
night,
30
Bob, with the game-winning goal
more
midway
left
through the
edit
third. But here, the Devils
127
win the draw and rifle it down the left-hand side.
tip 1
Echo Energy, your trusted Alberta retailer.
edit 900 and
Minute 20 gone by third
Edit
period.
900.
Edmonton trails 2-0. Looking to break through
insertion
against
point
Jake
before
Allen on the
spin
power
1
play.
spin more less
Came
but
through in the
edit
clutch last
42
night. Needs to do
spin
so
more
again tonight.
edit
Here's
30
Ekholm winding it up. No
edit
shot
100
lane.
less
Bouchard,
spin
top
1
of the right
spinner
circle,
edit
Draisaitl.
110
That front presence is high. But here's Nugent Hopkins.
100
Right side of the net. Short side. A couple of stuffs and a save made by Jake Allen. And it's Dawson Mercer looking
Edit
up ice,
200.
locating Hischier.
Here,
2-on-2 short-handed. And Hischier will shoot it in off the pads of Calvin Pickard. And
edit
net tonight
200
for Edmonton.
spin 1 more left
Stuart Skinner having earned the victory last
accent
night.
playback check
With
box check
28 saves in the
duration
4-2 win over Calgary. Second of the
Velocity.
back-to-back
No.
for Edmonton. Draisaitl trying to drop it off
Duration.
to Bouchard,
No.
and that was a
Velocity.
miscommunication. Drifts
Bouncing ball.
outside the zone. Nugent
Detach
Hopkins
button.
gathering
First
himself
beat
at center
other
ice.
beat counting
Left to right,
metronome
Edmonton
edit
pours back
set
in.
count edit read only
Change-up
enable
situation.
puck measures count
Onto the ice, Adam Henrique joining the fray
test.
on the power
Test.
play. Freeing it up for Ekholm. Calling
test
for it.
button.
Bouchard, no shot.
test
Flicks it down low for Nugent Hopkins.
test button
Check by Pesci.
Tempo
Bouchard
button.
to Ekholm up
Tempo
top.
evolution.
Hard pass collected by Henrique.
Flip. 1:1:0.
At the point. Hyman side of the net.
Short
Blast.
force.
Bouchard stayed.
Time.
Jake
Header
Allen.
control.
Rebound.
1:1. Time.
Hyman
Header.
freed it
Header
up.
control.
Henrique
Header.
nearly blew a wheel.
Time.
Got it
Header.
back to
Time.
Ekholm. Bouchard with 20 seconds left on the power play. Had it swatted away by Eric Hall. Little indecision there up top, and it cost the Oilers. Ekholm. Checked by Pesci. Loose puck. Pesci flipped up the boards. Jack Hughes able to settle and take the hit from Corey Perry to make the play inside the Oiler blue line. And that will be all for Edmonton's first power play opportunity tonight. Jack Hughes to steal on Nurse, who comes back into his midsection, frees it up for Jeff Skinner.
Audacity window.
Puck rolls
Enter
free.
English.
Skinner.
American Samoa. Sound
And a stick lifted from behind.
Start window.
Dougie
All out.
Hamilton
Cabin. No.
challenges his
Cab
one-time
and
teammate Jeff
no
Skinner
item
of
in
Carolina. And now a burst of speed up the right-hand side
No
from
item in
Andre
view.
Palat. Hamilton comes over,
Not an
guided
interact,
back
not
toward
an
the
area.
blue
Have
line,
on
and it's
cab
a reset
have
for
on boarding
Darnell
view.
Nurse and Troy Stetcher. 3.5 gone by third period. Punched forward by Noah Phil. Handed by Jake Allen. Right-hand side, Luke Hughes
Have on
put
board.
up the wall. And the New Jersey Devils have something brewing here. Tatar in over the line with Justin Dowling. He'll get it in
Have
deep.
on boarding view.
Dowling
Have on.
against
Have
Troy
on.
Stetcher. Edmonton able to bust up the cycle. Janmark reversed back behind his own net for Emerson. Stetcher
on
then
board.
threw it up the boards. Janmark can't make a play on it.
Have on.
And Paul Connor takes over for New Jersey. Second life for the
Have
Devils
on
in the
boarding.
offensive zone on a play that seemed dead. Here's Connor. Trying to change a pace and was dumped to the ice by Ty Emerson. Stepping up is Luke Hughes through the wickets of Eric Halla and thrust around the boards for Paul Connor. Halla, sharp left corner, tried to center it, that clattered off the boards. Connor to Halla, checked by Stetcher. Those two grapple for puck possession. The Devils able to keep the Oilers
Have on.
hemmed in near the half wall. Now Stetcher with a steal and an outlet to Connor Brown, and finally the
Have
puck
on.
is forked
Cap.
back inside the Devils' blue line. Nason over to Luke Hughes, but right now New Jersey just
Have on
biding
board.
time.
This is being played at their tempo and pace. They got this game in lockdown right now.
Have on.
Chipped in by Andre Palat. Now the Devils are
Have
not
on
your
boarding.
dad's Devils. This is not a lockdown team. Still prone to leaks defensively. Shot in by Leon
Have on bo-
Draisaitl. Here comes
have on boarding
Colson
view.
barreling down the right-hand side with Kulak. Draisaitl had it trickle off the stick. Victor Arvidsson given some space coming off the left half boards, but when he tried to center it was tipped.
File menu
And
item.
Palat will break it out for New Jersey.
File menu
Jesper
item.
Bratt challenging, centering
File
for
menu.
Jack Hughes. Nowhere to move the puck. Bratt gives it back to Kovacevic. And down low one more time for Hughes.
File.
Palat behind the net for
File.
Jesper
Edit.
Bratt.
Track.
Centers, and that was deflected away from Jack Hughes, who was barreling down the slot.
Track
Dylan
menu.
over to Kovacevic.
File.
Jack Hughes.
Close.
He'll
Close.
send it down
Open.
low, and
Save.
Darnell
Save
Nurse
as.
will pick up a loose
Undo
puck.
add
The
mini
Devils just
track.
wanted a change.
Import audio file.
Arvidsson
Menu
will bring
item.
it to center for the Oilers left to
Import
right.
wave.
For
File
the blue
dialog.
line, he'll
File
flip
name.
one toward the
Combo.
net. Allen
Folder
gave up
view
a
list.
rebound,
Name. Split
but
button.
it was cleared
Audacity. Non-selected.
safely to center,
Sound.
and Bouchard and
Import
Ekholm
wave.
have to
File
fall back.
dialog. Folder view.
For the
Home
Oilers,
button.
20 minutes to live is down
Folder
to
view
14.
list. Dora the
Dawson
Explorer.
Mercer in over the
Edmonton
line.
Oilers.
Play is
2017.
onside as he'll
Progress
whistle it down
window.
deep.
More
Meyer
details.
takes it in
Check
front,
box.
reach shot, somehow stayed out. Nico
Track.
Easter had Picker down and out and failed to bury it. And that may prove costly for the Devils. That would have been the insurance
Track
goal they
mixing.
needed. Hamilton trying to buy a call on the far side. He got shaken up. Might have collided with Zach Hyman at live speed. Luke Hughes to Timo
Track-
Meyer, but the
cap
Devils don't
teeth,
get it
track
out. And
mixing.
Bouchard down the half boards. Tried to center, and Luke Hughes took it away.
There's lots of cheap
Have
stick
on.
work out there in this game tonight. That's
Have on
because they
board.
didn't call anything early.
Have on board.
Ekholm inside his own blue line. Are you saying both sides or predominantly Jersey?
Both sides. Both sides.
13-15 to go, third period. Oilers have outshot the Devils
Have
by a
on board.
2-1 margin, 28-14. Yet they trail 2-0. Heischer missing an open net.
Well, there's one each way.
Yeah.
Put Colson and Heischer.
Have on board.
One guy hasn't scored in a year and a half, and the other
Have
is
on
the
boarding.
captain of your team.
Yeah. Fair
Lead
enough.
pass, Tomas
Have on.
Tatar. Paul Connor will sprint in from the right-hand side. Finishes check on Emerson.
Start
Leveled him,
with-
in fact. Noah Phil freed it up, however, and Corey
Search bar.
Perry with a dart up the middle. Trying to settle
And
that
track
puck down
studio,
with Brett
F on
Kulak.
boarding.
Derek Ryan following it up, but Kovacevic will take it from Sigathon.
File menu
And
item.
send one skipping back through the neutral zone.
File menu.
Emerson to bat it down with 12 and a half minutes now remaining in regulation.
File.
And New Jersey
Menu
still
bar.
holding a 2-0 lead.
Menu
Brett
bar.
Kulak to Connor Brown, right wing.
Track
Great
mixer.
shot.
Track
And that missed badly.
Track
Careened
menu
off
bar.
the corner boards all the way out to center.
Menu bar.
Brown had a glorious
Track mix
opportunity in
menu.
the first period,
File.
only to be
Close
stolen
song.
by Jake Allen off
And
the
track
rush.
studio
Andre
evaluation.
Palat.
Renew.
Rick
Volume.
Wide looking
Marker.
for Jack Hughes.
Snap.
He's got
Cut.
Hughes will send it up the boards, but
Paste.
Stetcher's
Paste.
there to cut it off
Insert.
and slide
Apply
it
track.
back through the neutral
Apply
zone.
track effect.
Pesci over to Luke Hughes and chipped in deep by Jesper Bratt. Leaving
And
it
track
was Calvin Pickard,
close song.
hard
Close
work
with
around the
open.
boards, and the speed
Undo
of the
menu.
end mark will
Review.
negate icing.
Song.
He's first
Song
on the
comment.
puck.
Song
Luke
information.
Hughes blew a
Quantize
wheel.
menu.
Quickly
Trim
regains
menu.
his feet, and
Quantize.
the puck nudged free for Andre Palat. From center ice, trying to get it in. Palat for years, a line
Track mixer.
of Steven
Menu bar.
Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov. Talk about a cushy position. Well, he's got two more good wingers with him right now. Or
Share
two
recording.
More players
More
to
options.
play with right now. Jack
Start
Hughes and
record.
Jesper Bratt.
Sound Diffie window.
Dougie Hamilton off
9.
an
Enter
Edmonton
English.
dump in
American
through
Samoa.
center
Sound
ice.
recorder.
Send it
1996.
18
And Audacity.
Oilers break it out.
Start
Arvidsson,
window. All
try
apps.
settle, trying
All
to go
apps lit.
cross ice. That
Yep.
was
And
tipped. And here's Timo
no
Meier.
item.
Maybe
No
a
item in
3-on-1.
view.
He's here back to Meier. Denied by Pickard. Rebound. Mercer. Big shot.
And
Hamilton
F on
blocks.
boarding
What
view.
a save by Calvin Pickard. Maybe the game-saving stop the Oilers needed. A right
F on boarding.
hand denial. And the Devils can't
F on
believe
boarding.
they haven't cashed in on a couple of recent point-blank opportunities. Calvin Pickard rising to the fore, and again, Heeshear, the victim. He missed an empty net earlier. This time slid it across, and Timo Meier stuck by Calvin
F on
Pickard.
boarding.
Will that turn out to be a turning point?
F on boarding.
11:08 to play, third period. New Jersey 2, Edmonton no score. This is Fort Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
F on Cab.
Believing in yourself takes confidence. At Portage College, 93% of grads say their education gave them the skills and knowledge they
F on
needed
boarding.
for their careers.
F
That's
on
the
boarding.
kind of confidence that leads to great results. Learn more at portagecollege.ca.
F on boarding.
Hey, Paul
Cab.
Brand here. You know what I'm a fan of? Alberta. The wide open spaces,
File,
the
menu
highways
item.
and byways,
Edit,
and a
track,
rugged,
transport.
beautiful terrain
Add
that I'm
view
proud
menu
to call
setting.
home.
No
Maybe that's
menu
why I'm
item.
also
Set
a fan of my Ford
set.
F-150.
Add
It's
track
tough,
edit
capable,
track
and
menu
smart,
edit
which
menu
makes
bar.
it a natural fit
File
for roads
edit
like these.
edit
So if it's a new
file
truck
menu
you're looking
item
for,
edit
look no further
and
than the
import
truck
audio
Albertans
file.
love to drive.
Undo and
F-150.
redo
Head into
volume
your Alberta
marker
Ford dealer and tell them PB sent you.
paste apply track and track studio evaluation version unsafe new song window edit file menu item edit undo redo volume mark snap selection menu edit scan song for silence select normalize menu item apply track
kids, families, and communities in need. Maybe you'll be our next winner. Get your tickets right
and track
now at
studio
EdmontonOilers.com and
track
help make oil country a
menu
better
bar
place.
file menu item menu item
Portage
recent
College graduates
convert
are
with
incredibly
and track
employable.
studio to
How
W
does
to
Portage know?
recut change sample
99%
to
of
on
employers
Forbes men
surveyed
to
said they
M4
would hire Portage grad.
and
Get
undo
career
menu
ready at Portage College.
markers
Learn
volume
more by
slash
visiting
pan drive menu disable
portagecollege.ca.
All games,
and track studio
all seasons. You're
Men-
listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
menu bar
Well, you got a 2-0
Track.
game right now in favor of the New Jersey Devils. A face-off to Calvin
Track
Pickard's
menu.
right-hand side, who might have
menu
just
file
given Edmonton
close with
some
and
real hope
undo
there
menu
with a
redo
denial
vo-
of Timo
vo-
Meier point blank. If that
so
goes in
editing
3-0,
mode, menu
11
item,
minutes to go,
cut,
it's probably
cut.
all she wrote.
Nor-
Oilers through the neutral zone. Brendan Dillon defending against Jeff Skinner,
and track studio
who's got 21
Menu.
career goals against New Jersey in
close
50
with
outings.
close song then close
Nugent
without
Hopkins able to keep
close
the play
without
in the offensive zone
and
for Zach Hyman.
import
Jeff Skinner located
play
in
menu
front.
item record
As
stop
Hyman wheels
pause
up top,
rewind
lost
reverse
the handle, and here
autos
comes Dawson
reverse
Mercer
playback
with Meier.
center
Lost
time
it to
loop
Meier
select
in one
restart
motion. Back
restart
score.
split
And
audio
there,
voice
Timo Meier able
voice
to
slash
convert
level
off a
activated
brilliant
record
touch pass
play
from
menu
Dawson
item record
Mercer. It's
and
3-0
track studio
for the Devils.
recently
Timo
import from audio
Meier with his sixth
mixer
of the
menu
year.
toolbars menu editing his playback recording CD burning menu big time menu item metronome menu tempo menu screen keyboard menu Screen drum. MIDI system exclusive banks menu item. Sync with mid. Save slash audio button. Navigator menu. Effects. Signal. Effects browser menu item.
They had to choose between
And track
Mercer and
studio.
Holtz.
Effects browser.
And I think they got one
We're
right.
going to see Holtz. Shane Huddy's working tonight's Prime broadcast. He told me Holtz.
We'll see Holtz in Vegas.
Yeah,
Effects
says he's been okay.
Editing.
That
Favorite
brought Paul
plugins
Connor
expanded.
to New Jersey. That
Selected.
deal. And here
Favorite
we go.
plugin.
3-0 now. Meyer from Mercer.
Selected.
And the Devils in control at 3-0. Noah Philp will
Favorite.
send it in deep.
Favorite plugins expanded.
Off the right-hand side, Andre
Effects
Plot did
expanded.
not get it
Selected.
out. Second effort, Derek
And track
Ryan keeps it
collapsed.
alive.
Solving
Kovacevic
MF collapsed.
slumped it
Effects
down the
expanded.
middle. That will roll wide of
Effects.
Pickard and be whistled for an
And
icing
track.
call
Favorite.
against
Collapsed.
the New Jersey Devils. 10:02
Expanded.
left in regulation, so a lot
All
of time,
plugins.
but now the deficit is 3.
Effect.
And as Bob mentioned, despite not
And track
necessarily
collapsed.
being noted
Select.
as a
Solving MF
lockdown
collapsed.
defense,
Instruments
they're
collapsed.
they're way
Effect.
better on
60.
They are better on D,
Effects
and
expanded.
Jake Allen
And
has been
track.
perfect. And now they're
All
talking about this, whether or not it should be the icing.
I don't think it should be. I think it should be a face-off.
Solving.
just outside of
All.
the Jersey blue line.
Now they're gonna say it's a face-off in the Devil's zone. I think. I don't know why it would be on the dot outside
File,
the blue
menu
line.
item.
That would
File.
seem to be a
Effect.
strange compromise, but
Editing.
as they sort it out, players
Bottom
feeling
line
right.
here is the Oilers had some early chances.
Editing.
I think whoever scored
Favorite.
the first goal in this
Effect.
game was going to be important.
Collapsed.
I mean, Edmonton played
Expanded.
like a foreign counter.
Well, especially the
And
magnitude of
all.
the chances, the volume of the chances in the first period, and it went New Jersey's way in a game
All
that could have been
plugins
3-0
collapsed.
after the first.
Natural stat
All
for
plugins
that,
collapsed.
5-on-5 scoring
Expanded.
chances.
32
One
bit.
point at
Auto filter. Auto hop. Auto hop. VST.
maybe they're not
Chorus.
counting the misses that
Compressor.
New Jersey had.
Dino Izzard. Detuning delay.
man, oh, man.
Diffuser.
Face off right
Dynamic.
side Allen after
Echo.
the icing call
Fuzz
whistled
PD.
This
against New
Lemmy.
Jersey.
This is
Lo-fi.
a game where the Oilers
And track auto ball.
It looks like they
And
can't
track
play
bass amp. And track chord. And track
Still
compressor.
lots of time.
And track
10 minutes to
devolver.
go. The
And
Oilers
track
have
echo.
shot the Devils
And track devolver
28-16,
BST3.
but,
And track. And track.
you know,
And track
Pickard makes a
multi-top
great
delay.
save on Meyer,
And track
and then you give
barometric.
him another chance
And track
point
PDF.
blank.
And track
And,
pitch shift.
you know, the Devils, as you pointed out, they've got
Selected.
enough skill guys
And
where
track
they can
pitch.
cash in on those if you
And
give
track
them enough
pitch.
and the
opportunities.
Oilers are down the biggest.
Selected.
In Connor McDavid.
And track pitch shift.
They're still trying to sort out who is
And
on
track
the ice
pitch.
for the
And
Devils
track
at the
reverb.
time of that icing
And track
call.
tempo
And
delay.
this is now
And track pitch.
closing in on a 2-minute delay.
Selected.
You don't see
And
this
track
that
pitch.
often.
And
we've
noise
seen
gate.
The only thing that's
Oscillator.
going to take
Phaser.
longer than this
Pitch
is
shift.
some of those votes that they're going to count
Pitch
for
shift.
swing states, John.
face off
Reverb.
to Jake Allen's right,
Pitch shift.
including my home state, Pennsylvania. That one won't be
Selected.
decided for a while, I don't think. Here's Siegenthaler up the left-hand
All
side.
32 bit.
Paul Connor freed it up.
Auto filter.
Pollock
Auto
tucked it inside the
32
Oiler
bit.
blue line. Bouchard tried to back in
30.
it through traffic up front. And Siegenthaler
Selected.
to Kovacevic and spilled in
Auto
smartly
hop. Chorus.
by Stefan Nason. So
Vocoder
let's see how the
PDB.
Devils
Vocal
handle
tune.
prosperity
Vocal
here.
harmonizer.
They were shut
Vocal-
out by
vocal
Calgary
harmonizer.
3-0 on Friday night.
Vocal
Now,
harmonizer.
72 hours later, after a detour through Banff, they've got a 3-0 lead. Draisaitl to Hyman in over the line to Matthias Ekholm.
Vocal harmonizer.
Bouchard, top of the right circle.
Tube distort.
Who came in
Tremolo.
12th of the league in scoring. And again, tied
All
for 5th in
plugins
goals.
expanded.
Draisaitl kept it
32.
in a
Auto
second
filter.
time. Luke Hughes given a third opportunity to clear, made certain of it. And a line change coming for New Jersey as Matthias Ekholm will settle it down. And
All
Edmonton's
plugin.
top line changed out.
32.
But Cole's on
Dynamic
the ice
EQ.
with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Jeff Skinner.
Selected.
Nugent-Hopkins kicks it back, fired wide
Echo.
by Emerson,
Fuzz
crushed
game.
by Kulak off
Fuzz
the side
TV,
of the net.
BST3.
Jeff Skinner tried to bank it off the New Jersey
Selected.
goaltender, and it was
Game.
loose in the blue
Low-
point
game.
for a moment before Allen was able to settle it down.
And track
Jake
guitar amp,
Allen has
BST.
never shut out
And track
Edmonton,
reverb.
and this is his
And track pitch
22nd
shift.
appearance. Again, over a 13
Selected.
career,
And track-
13-year career
Hit-
against the Edmonton Oilers. Well,
Spec-
he's 849 away from getting the shutout tonight. His last win, October the 14th, was a bagel over Utah.
Tube
He's got
tremolo.
Edmonton
Tube distortion.
looking at a
Vocal-
3-0
vocal-
score
vocal-
sheet right now. We'll be right back with more live third period play-by-play. This is
Vocoder
Oilers
PDB.
NHL Hockey.
Vocal tune.
The Oilers Radio Network.
Selected.
Sportsnet Plus is
Voco.
destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere else.
Voco.
Catch Oilers action all season. Plans starting at
Voco.
$19.99 a month.
Voco. Voco.
Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca. Did you know
Selected.
that there are 9 Napa Auto Parts stores serving the Greater
Vocoder
Edmonton area
PD
and have been doing so
VST3.
for more than 50 years?
Vocal
Since
2.
Napa first opened in
Vocal.
Edmonton, the
Vocal.
community has grown and vehicles have changed, but you can always
Vocal
trust
2.
Napa Auto Parts to provide you with the expert know-how and
So-
the best vehicle parts.
Vocal 2.
And if that isn't
Vocoder
enough, every
PD
time you visit a
Vocal
Napa Auto
Harmony.
Parts store
Vocal
where you
2.
present your AMA card, you receive an additional 10% discount on all retail parts and accessories. Visit your local Napa Auto Parts store for more
Vocal
offers
2.
and expert know-how.
All
Napa Auto
plugins
Parts is a
expanded.
proud fan of
All
the
plugins
Edmonton Oilers.
32 auto filter.
Medical imaging and
Auto
the
all
official medical
all
imaging
collapsed.
provider to the Edmonton
Expanded.
Oilers.
32 auto filter. Auto
Whether you're a professional athlete or a
Chorus.
weekend warrior, the game doesn't stop for injury.
Compressor.
MIC Sports Medicine Imaging Specialists can help you get back in the game with a
Dino is
timely
in.
and expert
Tuning delay
diagnosis.
PD
Go
VST3.
where the pros
Diffuser.
go.
Dynamic
For a location near
Echo.
you, visit mic.ca.
Selected.
Sportsnet Plus is your ultimate destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere
Echo.
else.
Dynamic diffuser. Detuning.
Oilers action all season. Plans starting at $19.99
Selected.
a month. Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
Favorite plugins expanded. Effects and track collapsed. Expanded. Auto filter. Auto hop chorus. And track expanded. Effect 6. Favorite. Auto hop chorus. Compress. Dino is detuning delay PD. And track reverb. And track pitch.
Decent and even strength in the first.
Selected. And track pitch shift.
And Meyer
And track
in the third.
Spectral. Tube distortion. Solving instrument. All plugin. 30. Auto chorus. 30. All. Vocal. Vocal tube.
Nugent Hopkins being moved out. Jeff Skinner will replace.
Selected.
Win the draw. Try to pull his way toward the net. And then Kovacevic had a chance to move the puck. Went right by it. Was able to regain his composure
and track graphic.
flip it through the middle. Emerson, little give and go with Brett Kulak. Bill chipping behind the Devils' defense. Kovacevic again, a strange play where he kind of anticipated where
favorite
the puck
plugin.
was going, left it
Expanded.
behind.
And
The Devils trying to
auto
snake their way out of this one as well, and it
and track
rattles off a few
effects
skates.
expanded. Favorite
And New
plugins
Jersey's
expanded.
backing it up,
Size
and he
box.
sure gets around it.
Editing.
Emerson
New
tries to tuck it in front
editing.
for Mercer this time, and that was
Favorite
broken
plugin.
up and brought the other way
favorite plugins collapsed.
by Nugent Hopkins.
All
So chip and
plugins
charge.
expanded.
Devils
32-bit.
immediately able
Auto
to
filter.
clear.
Auto hop.
New Jersey not
VST3.
allowing Edmonton to spend a lot of
Selected.
extended zone
Auto
time
hop.
whatsoever.
Chorus.
Pickard will
Compressor.
handle a dump in
Dino
from
is
the Devils as
detuning
both
delay
teams
PD
make wholesale
VST3.
changes in personnel. 8
Echo.
minutes to play. Eric Ryan will send it in. Third straight game without Connor McDavid,
Favorite.
and Edmonton
Editing.
feeling
Play.
his absence right
Effects
now.
browser master.
Trailing 3-0.
Effects
Bratt likely guilty of icing here. And there's the whistle
Effects.
with
Editing.
7:43 to go.
Favorite.
And hopefully
All
they've
plug-
taken all the numbers this time, Bob, so we can
Editing.
continue.
Effects graph.
Offensive zone
Effects.
draws. So Christopoulos.
Edit. All 30. Auto filter.
Corey Perry's going to jump out there
Auto hop. VST3.
on Leon Draisaitl and Zach
Selected.
Hyman.
Auto hop.
Hyman will play left wing.
All 32-bit. All favorite
Face
plug.
off.
All 30.
Controlled after
Auto
a
filter.
moment by Jack Hughes, trying to land off the
Vocoder
glass.
PD,
Great play by
VST3.
Draisaitl, knock it down. Bouchard
Selected.
through one-man shoots, and that stayed out. Allen tried to get there. He was tied up in front, and Palat smartly backhanded it up the left-hand side to buy his
Echo.
goaltender some time. Bouchard to Corey
Selected.
Perry. On a line right now with Hyman and Draisaitl as the Oilers growing desperate here as we come up on 7 minutes to play. Draisaitl to Bouchard will spike it into the corner. Pesci nearly gave it away. Dillon nudged it up the right-hand side. Good spin move by Bratt, but then he put too much on it. And that will lead to another icing call against New Jersey with 7:02 remaining in the third period. And again, the Oilers having outshot the Devils 30-16
Echo.
and 17-6 over the last, what would
Selected.
that be, 33 minutes, Bob? 17-6, and they're being outscored 2-0 over that span.
It's hockey. Hockey's an unfair game to the degree of luck.
And track.
Face-off, red
The
zone.
Oilers got some luck last year at times.
Here's Hughes
track
against
auto.
Draisaitl. Corey Perry one-hands it out
to Bouchard, then settled down a return pass, put it down low looking for Draisaitl, broken up by Dillon, and the Devils more than happy to take another icing call as Pesce fires it down the right-hand side. 6:49 to play in the third period.
New Jersey's done a better job at face-offs as this game has gone on.
Effects browser master. Effects
Jack,
editing.
think back to the
Pitch
Dallas
shift.
series.
And track pitch shift.
Double-minded to McDavid in the first overtime period of game one. They win game one.
Selected.
And I think game six.
And track.
33-10 the shots. Dallas all over Edmonton. It happens. It's the way the game works.
Off the draw, wrist shot fired hard by Hyman. Allen fought off, and Andre Palat will bring it up through center.
File
Shovel
menu
it.
item.
Devils make a line change. They're fresh, rested,
Edit.
ready to
Track.
go.
Edit. Menu
Edmonton on
item.
the second
Menu
of
bar.
a back-to-back.
File
Looking to
menu
summon
item.
whatever
Close.
reserves they might
And
have.
renew.
Draisaitl
Song.
hacked and
Quant.
whacked down the
Trim.
right-hand side,
Merge
left it
part.
for Corey
Splice.
Perry. Behind
Splice.
that, Draisaitl
Splice.
gives it
Split.
up for Echo.
Silent.
Stetcher
Scan.
high slot.
Normal. Apply.
Perry top of the
Insert.
right
Menu
circle.
item. Paste
Good
append.
movement here.
Paste.
But the puck
Paste
clipped the
appended.
back of the net. That'll
Apply
lure
track
Draisaitl,
effects
and
slash
he looks
envelopes.
tired as he
Menu item.
heads for the Oiler bench. The Devils able to lift back through the middle.
And
6
file
minutes to
menu.
play.
Close.
Stetcher, soft
Import.
toss, went
MIDI.
through a pair of
Remove.
Devil
Remove.
sticks,
Splits.
laid off to
Clone
Dougie
track.
Hamilton.
Track
He's trying to
properties.
protect. He was taken
Wave
down,
file.
might have gotten
Rename.
away.
Effect.
A little slew foot
Freeze.
on
Menu.
Derek Ryan.
Special.
Siegenthaler
External
able to
wave
escape
editor.
up
Net
the
trans.
right-hand side,
Import
play off
audio
the
file.
boards,
MIDI.
then hopped over Nurse
Play
and
menu.
tracked down
Record.
by Troy Stetcher.
Rewind.
Pass angled
Revert.
off the boards to
August.
Derek
Send.
Ryan.
Loop.
Trying to shovel it down deep,
Void.
get out of
Mute
Henry,
all out.
could not
Play
get it
menu.
done.
Record.
Instead,
Mute all output.
it's going to be Kovacevic
Import
with a
audio.
blind
Recently
turnover on
inserted
Derek
wave
Ryan.
file. And track studio.
Janmark took too long
Recently
to move it,
and
crashed into by Paul Cotter.
Recently
Ryan got in
inserted
the
wave.
mix. Cotter
And
looking
add
to
channel
escape.
menu item.
Janmark fights
Context.
through a couple
Import
of
audio.
checks and
Recently
moves it up
insert.
the left-hand
Add
side for
AI
Justin
mix
Dowling.
split.
He
Add
was
rewired.
tossed aside
Add
rather
new instrument.
routinely by
Add new
Darnell Nurse, but
auxiliary.
to Dowling's
Add new
credit, he got
instrument
right
channel
back up
menu.
and
Disabled.
forced it back in. Brett Pesce handles an
And track
Edmonton
studio
clear by
evaluation
Pokio
version
and
unsaved
Luke
view
Hughes,
song
who just
window
take
add
a
channel
skate
menu
and
item.
then return to Pesce on the
File
right-hand
menu.
side. It's going
Close
to be
song
sent in
menu
deep by
item.
Tomas
Close.
Tatar.
Open. Save.
5 minutes
Save.
to play
Manage
now.
song.
And
Import.
Edmonton still
Import.
trails
Shift.
3-0.
Mix. X.
Hope
Invert.
dwindling
Reason.
up
Menu.
the left-hand
Menu
side.
item.
The Devils protected.
Menu item.
Here's
Reason.
Noah Phil.
X.
Could not get through Nico Heischer. Tried to tuck it outside. Tatar bumped it free
Close song.
and flipped
Progress
up
window.
the
More
middle by
details.
Curtis
And
McDermott.
track.
How about that in terms of
pitch
a
shift.
skill
And track
differential?
it.
Curtis McDermott wearing the number 23.
Editing. Pitch shift.
Most notably,
And track pitch shift.
by Scott
track.
Gomez wearing a Devils uniform. Different skill set.
Pitch.
McDermott
And track.
with a different
Editing.
set of hands than Scott
Editing.
Gomez. We got
Insertion
an
point.
icing call
Effects
coming
browser master.
against New Jersey, and Curtis McDermott,
Editing.
of course,
Pitch.
a
And
one-time teammate of Connor McDavid, who played for Chris Knobloch
Pitch.
for the year
Editing.
Oilers.
Effects browser.
Hard-nosed tough guy. They had three real tough defensemen in there.
Effects
Part of the
browser.
Erie Oilers team is Calvin Pickard's off the ice here. The Oilers are going to pull
Effect.
Chris Knobloch,
Effects
beat
browser.
Sheldon Keefe. Erie in the suit that year. Darnell was in the suit.
So with Pickard on the
Editing.
bench,
Pitch.
the net is empty, 4.5 to go, 6 on 5, Draisaitl with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman lining up in the slot. Draisaitl off the face-off, Nugent
Selected.
Hopkins feeds
And trap.
Ekholm, and now Bouchard. Ekholm works at Nugent Hopkins, a shot
And pitch.
through Jake
Editing.
Allen, but wide,
Insertion.
rebound,
Effects browser.
Draisaitl let it go back to
Editing.
Bouchard, and then gives it up to
Effects.
him. Ekholm winds it up. Nugent Hopkins centering pass, and Allen watches that scoot into the corner. Draisaitl to
Effects
Bouchard.
browser master.
Shot blocked. Rebound, Draisaitl.
Effects
Fighting
browser
through traffic,
master.
right corner, played it back to Bouchard with 4 minutes to go in regulation. It's Ekholm with his team down 3-0. Getting it back from Draisaitl
Edit.
across
Pitch.
to
And track
Bouchard.
pitch
Showing
shift.
one-timer.
Pitch shift.
Draisaitl will take the one-timer and just miss far
And
post.
pitch
And
shift.
that clatter off
And
the
pitch-
corner
and
boards and
pitch-
all the way inside the Oiler blue line.
I can't buy one tonight.
And track.
Jack.
Devils will get a
And
change.
track. Pitch. And pitch.
Here's
and-
Ekholm.
And
He'll
track.
shovel
Pitch.
it down deep from center. Jake Allen will play it up on the glass. Hyman able to swarm.
And
keep the
track.
puck
Pitch shift. Pitch
trapped
shift.
in the right-hand
Edit.
corner. Draisaitl twisted
Edit.
it back
Insertion
to Evan
point
Bouchard.
before
He'll
key.
walk the
Effects
line.
browser
Ekholm
master.
again. Snapped it back to Bouchard. Moves it to
Effects
his forehand. Then off to Ekholm. Showed slap pass. Waits.
Edit.
Sharp angle. Threaded
Insertion
it through.
pitch shift.
The
And track.
wickets of Draisaitl fed along the left-hand boards. Picked up and shot toward the open net by Jack Hughes. He misses.
Pitch
Palat
shift.
on
Editing.
his backhand. He'll turn it back to the forehand. Try to center for Bratt. That was was broken up.
Undo.
The net is empty for the Edmonton Oilers. And Brett
Select
releases the puck.
right to left.
A hard
Select all
forecheck by
menu.
Jack
Right to
Hughes.
show
Forced
unit.
Nugent
Insert
Hopkins to
unit.
drop it
Open
back
eye.
to Echo.
Reconvert.
This guy's got to be
Open eye.
exhausted for Edmonton.
Here's Bouchard at center
Copy.
ice. Still
Context.
6 on 5. Draisaitl
Context.
walks it back in with 2:45
Select all
to
menu.
play.
Right to left.
Bouchard. Kulak. Draisaitl
Right to left.
behind Arvidsson with that pass.
And
Man
tracks
went down
editing.
awkwardly. Jeff Skinner, he's shaken up. Skinner's going to have to, well, he's
Pitch
going to
shift.
try to
And track
grind it
pitch.
out. I think he's hurt, Bob. Here's a wrap up by Kovacevic. A backhand
And track-
clear for Paul Cotter. And the Oilers, once again, forced into full
Pitch
retreat.
shift.
Brett Kulak picks it up with 2:25 to play. Oilers up on the shot clock, 31-16,
And track-
trailing on the scoreboard, 3-0. Send indeed.
On
Pesci.
application menu.
Brendan Dillon
Select
now
and
trapped
tracks.
in the corner.
Effects browser
All
master.
down. Pesci came up with the puck, fired toward the empty net,
Editing.
and just missed. This will be icing
Insertion.
against New Jersey
Effects
with
br-
2:06 left
Effects.
to play. And you wonder whether Chris Knobloch will consider a timeout here.
This is one of the
Effects.
longest 6:05 stretches
Editing.
you'll ever
Pitch
see.
and
No
pitch
question.
and insert effect.
These guys should be relatively fresh that are on the ice for Edmonton.
Effects browser
Right
master.
side of goaltender Jake Allen. Off the draw, the Devils come up with a puck. Henrique was bull rushed out of there. The Devils had a chance to clear, did not get it done. A second effort by Brendan Dillon. Dropped it for Pesci on his backhand, weakly up the boards, but not out. But Colson
Effects
to
browser.
the point for Kulak. Here's Nurse giving it up for
Effect.
Corey Perry. Circling with 1:45 to play. Trying to give
Audacity
it to Nurse,
window.
that was
Select
broken up.
and
Nurse
track.
fires, hit his own man.
Effects
And
browser.
now an opportunity
Edit.
for
Pitch.
Paul Cotter to locate an open
Editing.
man.
Insertion.
Holla
Effects browser.
dumped it inside the Oiler blue line. A quick change for the Devils.
Effect.
Brett Kulak will try to catch New Jersey in it. He'll drop it to Corey Perry. But
And
Colson
track.
a shot to save
Search.
Jake Allen.
And track.
His
Effects
32nd of the night with 1:25 to go. And now at this point, even if the Oilers do bang one home, victory probably secure for New Jersey.
This is going back in there.
Effects browser.
Yeah, Calvin Pickard, that's what I'm
Effects
saying.
browser
I think
master.
you're down 3 with 1:25 to go. The white flag
Effect.
goes up. I think that's what
And
Chris Knobloch thinking.
you've exhausted your top end players here. Second of back to back.
Effects browser.
Noah Phil
Edit.
out
Pitch
there
shift. And track pitch shift.
with Connor Brown and
And track
Derek
pitch.
Ryan. Off the face-off, Siegenthaler to
Selected.
Kovacevic. The Devils recognizing
Pitch
there's no
and tra-
empty
pitch
net
shift.
anymore.
And
Siegenthaler
track
will
pitch.
turn. That went off an
And
Oilers
pitch.
stick, so this will not be
And tra-
icing. As that called back in his own zone,
Pitch
will
shift.
direct a pass over to Evan
Editing.
Bouchard. And now the only lasting suspense is whether Jake Allen can polish off the 26th
Effects
National
browser.
Hockey League shutout of his
Editing.
career.
Favorite.
Oilers are
All
going to be guilty of an
32
icing down the middle with 59 seconds to go. And Edmonton will drop to 2-4-1 on home ice and back
30.
to 500 on the year at 6-6-1 with two
Auto
more
Auto
tests ahead this week, starting with Vegas. That's a
AUTOWHA space opening
6:44
bracket.
puck drop
Court.
on Wednesday
Compressor.
night, and in
Court.
Vancouver,
Detuning
rematch
delay
of last year's second
Detuning
round
delay
series,
PD
won by
VST3.
Edmonton in 7 games.
Diffuser.
And I have a sneaking suspicion we might see Connor McDavid against the
In
Vegas.
the Vancouver game. He did not rule that out tonight, Bob, or excuse me, today at the morning avail.
Dynamic
He
Echo.
did say,
Dynamic EQ.
and it seemed like all indications
All
Wednesday
plug
was out of
32
the
bit.
question, but
Auto,
Saturday
all plugins
is a
expand
possibility.
collapsed.
Team will have a day off on Thursday as well.
And all
Eckel, right-hand side for Bouchard, cross ice, tipped away by McDermott.
favorite
35
plugins
seconds
collapsed.
to go. The Devils trying to get this
Favorite
shutout
plug.
for their goaltender. Jake Allen will go to
Selected.
3-1-1, and 2 of those 3 victories would be by way of the shutout
Favorite
if this
plug.
score holds.
He played well. He earned it tonight.
31 stops officially. Derek Ryan with token pressure, and Brendan Dillon is more than content to just hang
All
on to this puck
favorite plugins
and ensure
collapsed.
the shutout for Jake Allen.
Selected.
He'll swing it up the boards.
Favorite.
Nurse bumps it back in, but
Startup
Edmonton's got a
screen.
tag back
Startup.
onside, and that allows Dougie Hamilton
And track
to
studio.
gleefully
And
dance
track.
behind his own net.
And
Jake
track studio
Allen,
evaluation
in his
version new.
13th
Effect
year in the
favorite
NHL,
plugin.
will secure his first
All-
ever shutout of the Edmonton Oilers, this being his
Favorite
22nd career appearance
All plugins.
against Edmonton.
Audacity window. File menu
And the
item.
Devils win